Hi everyone, my name's Konnor. I'm one of the fourth year medical students here at UC Irvine. I'm in sunny Southern California, going into emergency medicine. And in emergency medicine, you're going to see a lot of different things. People traveling from different countries, needing vaccines, having random illnesses from places that they went. So remembering your microbiology, super high yield, also really high yield for step one. So we're going to do a high yield micro board style question today within the question bank embedded into Sketchy. And we're going to learn all about hepatitis A. So I always read the last sentence first. So which of the following measures would have most effectively prevented her infection? So something about prevention. They're already infected. What should we have done, or they should have done, to prevent? So I never read the answer choices. I think it biases me a little too much, so I don't do that. I have a 30-year-old woman. She's in the clinic with a week of fatigue, nausea, vomiting, and jaundice. Fatigue, nausea, vomiting is kind of, meh, and it could be a lot of things. The jaundice is a little concerning. She went to a mission trip in a rural area in Southeast Asia. Okay. Played with local families, but consumed home prepped meals and unfiltered water. Both of those things are a problem, namely the unfiltered water, but a lot of those are a problem. She clearly has jaundice with the scleral icterus in the right upper quadrant tenderness. She has an elevated liver function. Her bili is high, and we already have serology. Great. It's positive for anti-Hep A IgM antibodies, telling me I have an acute Hep A infection. Okay. So how do we prevent our 30-year-old female friend from getting Hep A? Sometimes, depending on how I feel, I read the answer choices from the bottom up. Entirely up to you on how you do it, but I at least go in order, and I make sure to rule in and rule out each answer choice. Using mosquito net during sleep. That is not how hepatitis A is transmitted. From what I remember from the sketch, Hep A is going to be like your water, maybe a little bit of like sexual activity, but it's like food, water, that type of stuff, not mosquitoes. Receiving Hep B before travel. Okay, this is about Hep A, so it's not Hep B. Avoiding sexual contact with locals. So yeah, Hep A can be transmitted that way, but there's nothing in this stem that I can't make that assumption that this happened. And so if I can't make an assumption, or I can't have evidence for that, it's likely not the right answer. It's also not the most common way Hep A is spread, so less likely for me. Taking prophylactic antivirals during travel. Sure, that's great, but we don't have antivirals for Hep A, as far as I remember. And then this is what most people do, is they go to their primary care clinic or something like that, and they get their travel vaccines. Hep A is a vaccine that we give before travel. I remember in part of the sketch, there is a lady walking around. She has a backpack on because she's a traveler, and she has a big old syringe. So right now, this is definitely my leading choice. I can rule this one out. I can rule this one out. Possible, but less likely. Again, and we don't have any meds, like prophylactic meds for Hep A. So I'm going to go with this one, and let's find out. All right. And just like I mentioned, this is the part that I had to remember. There's a lot of things going on in the Hep A sketch. So let's pull it up and kind of refresh. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little weak on Hep A. So I pull it back up. I open the symbol viewer, and I click through the symbols. You can either click through or scroll down. I typically will scroll down this way. So Hep A, hippo, we remember that. Scrolling through. Okay, it's naked, it's protected from acid, transmitted via fecal oral. So like I told you, the most common way it wasn't sexual contact is fecal oral. Resource limited is commonly from the consumption of contaminated water. Our friend drank some bad water as well. We can purify the water in the United States or in resource in places that have a good amount of resources. It's not really the water component. It's like shellfish, something random. And right here is the one I wanted to point out. It's a traveler right here with a backpack on and the syringe. So I know this is travel, and you can get a vaccine before you travel for that. Same thing she presented with, some jaundice, some vomiting. Those are all, things that were in the question stem, but that's really what I needed to know. And here you go, syringe tranquilizer, an activated vaccine for Hep A specifically. All the hepatitis are very high yield on step one, and really any kind of board exam that you end up taking. So hopefully you enjoyed this video learning more about hepatitis A, just like I did. And I will see you in future videos.